So growing up is tough, right? You learn early on that your word is everything. When you tell somebody that you're going to do something, you better follow through with it, because that's how respect is earned. Otherwise, they're going to be talking about you, right? They're going to be like, oh, she just talking, or he just talking. But what about when you make promises to yourself, right? It's easy to let those things slide, especially when life throws constant changes your way. So here's the truth, right? If you want to level up and stay consistent, myself included, I'm on this journey with y'all, right? It all starts with keeping your word to yourself. When we keep our word to ourselves. So why does keeping your word to yourself matter? So think about the people that you trust the most, right? They're reliable. They do what they say they're going to do. Now, ask yourself, like, can you say the same thing about how you treat yourself? When you keep telling yourself that you're going to start that business or get healthy, lose weight, save money, but don't follow through, it's like breaking a promise. And just like you wouldn't trust someone who always lets you down, you start losing trust in yourself, right? So the real behind it, everybody on this planet is no stranger to struggle. Either we've seen it or we've been through it. We've been through a lot, right? Hard times, broken promises, and dreams that we haven't put into action for it to realize. But sometimes, your brother or sister may pull you up, and then other times we have to get out and get it on our own. And that starts with showing up for ourselves every single day. When you say you're going to do something, no matter how small, do it. Because every time you keep your word to yourself, you're building the discipline, right? And confidence needed to take on bigger challenges. So how do we keep our word to ourselves? Start with what you can handle. You don't have to take on the world one day at a time. In one day. If your goal is to start saving money, don't worry about stacking hundreds right away. Start with $5 or $10 a week. The key is to make sure it's something that you can do consistently. With keeping our word to ourselves, we got to be real specific. Don't just say, I'm going to get in shape. You got to be clear about it. Got to be specific. I'm going to go on a walk 15 minutes every morning before work. When you're specific, you know exactly what you need to do. It's also important to set a time and stick to it, right? Promises without a plan are just wishes. If you say you're going to work on your business, decide when and for how long. Like, let's say, okay, boom, your business or a side hustle. Let's just say a side hustle. Let's say you have a 9-to-5 and you got something you're doing on the side. Decide when and for how long. So you could say, like, every night from 7 to 8 p.m. You're going to work on this thing, right? And this turns a dream into like a real commitment. It's also important to keep track of our progress, right? Write it down. You can use an app or mark it on a calendar. I'm not a big proponent of just buying stuff just to be buying stuff. Use what you got, right? You don't have to go out and buy a whole new app or anything like that. That's a waste of money, okay? And 9 times out of 10, the stuff that you already have can be used, for other things. So utilize what you got. You could write it down, use the app or mark it on your calendar. When you see your progress, it helps you to stay motivated and show you how far you've actually come. Because sometimes we be forgetting. Sometimes it's like, how when you're in the thick of things, it's like, dang, I've been saying I'm gonna do this thing. I've been saying I'm gonna do this thing. But we forget, like, sometimes we forget, like, dang, we've been doing it every day for the past week, the past month, the past year. So it's important to, just write it down, just to show you how far you come, and don't be hard on yourself. Like, if you slip up, don't trip. Acknowledge it, figure out what went wrong, and get back on track. Because consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent, right? Persistent in our efforts. There's something called the ripple effect. When you keep your word to yourself, you start to build trust in your abilities, right? For example, I'm doing this video. This is my first video that I've done in a long time. I'm like, okay, boom, I have to keep my word to myself, because I know that I could do, I know that I can do this YouTube thing, and not just keep it on YouTube, but just to share the knowledge and experiences that I have. And I'm an avid learner. I love to learn. Not necessarily go to school, but I love to learn. And I think it'll be a benefit to people if I share, you know, what I've learned that has been helpful, you know, helpful for me. So yeah, so the ripple effect, when you keep your word to yourself, you start to build trust in your own abilities, and that self-trust leads to confidence, right? And before you know it, you're hitting your goals. You're hitting the goals that you once thought were out of reach, whether it's, you know, getting a degree, starting a business, or just sorry, let me slow this down. Whether it's getting your degree, starting a business, or just living a healthier lifestyle, it all starts with those small promises that you keep to yourself. And once you got that down, you're unstoppable. So consistency isn't just about doing the same thing every day. It's about being true to your word, especially yourself. Growing up, right, we learned that keeping your word is a matter of respect, and it's no different when it comes to respecting yourself. So set your goal. When you set your goal, remember, your word is powerful. Keep it and watch how your life changes for the better.